What's going on, folks? I hope you're all doing well. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different and create a little top 10 video about Call of Duty. I'm sure most of us have a love-hate relationship with Call of Duty. For many of us, it's been our favourite game over a number of years, and like dedicated fans, we've lined up to be the first to play each new title. Call of Duty has those magical ingredients that make it a fast, action-packed game that's fun to jump on and play with your friends and just go on some fun rampages. Unfortunately though, it doesn't take much game time to realise that there's some dreadful design features in every Call of Duty, so this roundup is a top 10 of the worst features to be ever added to any Call of Duty title. These are the kind of things where you've got to think, what were the devs actually thinking in those meetings? Surely someone would have thought this through and realised that maybe it wasn't a good idea to include these things in the game. But as we all know, not only did these things make their way into the game, in a lot of cases they actually made their way through multiple titles throughout the whole series. So let's kick off this top 10 with the best of a bad bunch, starting with the Frag Times 3 perk from Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty 4 by the original Infinity Ward was the game that innovated modern day military shooters with customizable class setups. Infinity Ward came up with the idea of adding some kind of roleplay aspect to allow us to choose how we wanted to play and pick out perks that suited our own game style. Unfortunately, one of those perks, Frag Times 3, was not so much of a good idea and was actually one of the only faults with that game. It doesn't take long to realise that giving 3 frag grenades to a player will soon result in some terrible grenade spam, and this is back in the days where we didn't have a blast shield or flak jacket perk, so more often than not we'd find ourselves just being constantly blown up by annoying explosives. Coming in at number 9, we've got the Commando perk from Modern Warfare 2. Now this is in at number 9 because while it is annoying, it did actually help invent the whole playstyle of going knife only. This was often used tactically by players who wanted to handicap themselves and go for those knife only nukes. But in reality, this perk only built upon the quite high knife lunger standard, which meant that the knife was often more powerful than a gun in those close range encounters. Coming in at number 8 is another bad idea from Call of Duty 4 that continued into World at War and Modern Warfare 2, that is Martyrdom, the perk that allowed you to drop a grenade when you die to get revenge on your killer. Thankfully this can be avoided, which is why it's in at number 8, quite high up the chart, but it has caused countless annoying deaths throughout all those games we played throughout Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Going in at number 7, we've got another terrible idea from Modern Warfare 3, the Support Strike Chain's Stealth Bomber. Now the support strike chain in Modern Warfare 3 in general was a good idea. It allowed players to achieve rewards that helped their team even if they died. So suddenly Call of Duty is no longer a game that only rewards those exceptional players who can string together those killstreak rewards. The only problem is, alongside all these non-lethal rewards that helped your team, we've got the Stealth Bomber, which was otherwise a 9 killstreak reward back in Modern Warfare 2, which is now guaranteed to all players regardless of if they got kills and ended up dying in the process. With it being guaranteed to all players once they'd racked up enough points, this meant there was multiple bombers being called in at around the 3/4 mark of every game, often obliterating everyone on the map with its huge blast radius and the fact that being a stealth bomber, there was no way to shoot it down. Coming in at number 6 is a tool that's hated by pretty much the whole Call of Duty community, with the exception of those trolls who enjoy using it, that tool being the grenade launcher, aka the noob tube. Now this could genuinely be a balanced attachment, but it wasn't until Black Ops that it was correctly nerfed to be ineffective against enemy players unless they were already damaged. It really wasn't until Modern Warfare 2 when this thing became stupidly overpowered, as we'll discuss over the next few points. Now we're only in at number 5 and we've already got to One Man Army, so I bet you're wondering what's even left for the top 5. But One Man Army was one of those features that was good in theory and could have been used tactically to change loadouts, to take out air support without having to die, then reselect your class. But instead the Call of Duty community did what it does best and managed to manipulate it for evil by combining it with the grenade launcher to provide infinite explosives without the need to search for scavenger packs. It would have only taken one simple fix to just allow you to only change classes once or twice, maybe once to change onto your anti-air class, then once again to change back. Alternatively, and what's probably an even easier fix, is just to disallow the switching to a class that incorporates a grenade launcher. Other than the infinitely resupplyable grenades from the days of Modern Warfare 2, the main problem with those one-man army noob tubers was the combination of the perk that comes in at number 4, Danger Close. Now as if grenade spam wasn't enough, that's both thrown grenades and launched grenades, the devs only decided to go and make them even more powerful with the addition of the Danger Close perk. Equip this thing and you could suddenly do double the amount of damage with your explosives, which meant when combined with this deadly cocktail of grenade launchers plus the one-man army perk in Modern Warfare 2, it created a seriously game-breaking concoction. To fix the one-man army danger close noob tubers in Modern Warfare 2, you could remove any one of these three features, but the reason danger close is at number 4 is because even if you remove the grenade launcher or the one-man army perk, you've still got those explosives of claymores and grenades that benefit from the use of danger close, which only ruin the experience for everyone else. So we get into the absolute worst features to ever to be added to Call of Duty now, with Second Chance coming in at number 3. Now you could argue that Second Chance from Black Ops isn't quite as game-breaking as the one-man army noob tubes from Modern Warfare 2, but the reason it comes in at number 3 is because Black Ops was the saviour in that it fixed the majority of flaws in Modern Warfare 2. There was no death streaks, there was no knife lunge, there was weak grenade launchers, and Scavenger didn't replenish launcher ammo. You could argue that in Modern Warfare 2 there were so many flaws that each one of them didn't seem quite as bad because there were so many other annoyances. But in the case of Black Ops, it was such a well-designed game, it's so unbelievable that this one feature actually made it into the final release. Now I've had this feature in previous titles under the names of Last Stand and Final Stand, but in Black Ops they managed to reincarnate it as Second Chance. At least it was nerfed slightly in the fact that the player could only use their pistol as opposed to their primary weapon, as was the case in Modern Warfare 2. But the real problem with Second Chance was the iffy lag compensation in Black Ops that meant that players were invincible going into Second Chance and could insta-kill their attacker before they even hit the ground. Because the only other flaw with Call of Duty Black Ops was the use of the Ghost perk, which completely hid enemy players from the radar, resulting in an infestation of corner campers, so much more focus goes on this one annoying feature that's been retained from previous titles. So we get to the end of Call of Duty Black Ops and onto the release of Modern Warfare 3, only for many of the problems that were fixed in Black Ops to be returning once again. Of all the things that they brought back, death streaks were one of the worst features. These things had absolutely no place in this game, but there was one in particular that had mutated into something we could never have imagined. As if martyrdom from the early days of Call of Duty wasn't bad enough with its relatively small grenade blast radius and delayed fuse, the developers thought that anyone who died 6 times in a row deserved to be able to detonate an explosive vest with C4 blast radius to provide no chance of escape for the attacker. This one feature alone was the reason that I packed in playing Modern Warfare 3 altogether and set my sights on Black Ops 2, which you'll notice hasn't had any inclusions in this top 10. What's truly aggravating about Dead Man's Hands and death streaks in Modern Warfare 3 in general is that they've been brought back to the franchise after they've been fixed by Treyarch in Call of Duty Black Ops just 1 year earlier, and it only proves that these two studios are completely isolated from each other. So we've now counted down to the number 1 worst feature to ever to be introduced to the Call of Duty franchise, and that is, in my opinion, the IED from the latest title, Call of Duty Ghosts. You can learn a lot over 6 years of Call of Duty development, so it should be quite easy to realise the flawed features from previous titles and eliminate them from the next one to ensure progression throughout the series. Unfortunately though, these days the devs seem to do the opposite. Claymores and bouncing Bettys, despite being abused over recent titles, weren't included in this list because they were merely minor nuisances. You can easily counter them by tripping the fuse and then retreating, or dropping to the ground to avoid the blast radius. So why, after all these Call of Duty games, do we now get an explosive that literally has 0 fuse time that results in no escape, and it can now be planted on any surface out of sight? There's no red laser beams as a warning this time, and there's no audible noise to suggest that you should perform some evasive maneuvers. In Call of Duty Ghosts, it's just an immediate insta-death. But as Call of Duty fans, we can only hope that over the upcoming years, the devs will soon realise that these kind of features ruin their games and only turn people away from the franchise. With Treyarch's Black Ops 2 being a pretty good title overall, we can only hope that those minor annoyances are ironed out going into Black Ops 3. After which we'll probably see mutations of one-man army, grenade launchers, danger close, second chance, martyrdom and commando all blended into one in the next Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Raven and Neversoft title. So feel free to post your own top 10 of the worst features to be added to the Call of Duty franchise down in the comments. I'd love to know if you agree with my roundup or whether you'd place them in a different order. So I hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, I'll catch you all later.